Well, hey everyone, how are you today? It's Sharon here again from I Restore Stuff, ready for another DIY project. Now, this week, it's Friday right now as we record this, unless you're watching the replay, it may not be. But during the week, this week I can't even remember what day it was, I showed you how I upcycled, well I started upcycling, this ordinary index card box. So it was pretty plain, it was just an ordinary pine box. It had a little stain on the top, in fact. And all I did was paint it with 2 coats of Artisan Chalk paint. So it's a chalk finish, a natural chalk finish that I sell here in Australia, right on my website, in fact. I also added on here an Efex applique. You can see that there on the top. It gives it a little bit of detail. You can add these kind of things to furniture, but I'm just using it on a small piece today so you can kind of get an idea of the kind of things that you can create with all sorts of stuff. So I also added this little latch. Now I just bought these off eBay or Amazon Australia, and so they're simple, easy little things that they just screw in with tiny little Phillips head screws. So I've added those. I did paint over the hinges, which were kind of matching this, but never mind. I could paint that if I wanted to, but I think it'll give a bit of character. But what we're going to do today is show you how to use glaze. Now I do have a YouTube video that is really one of my most popular videos on how to do glazing. But today I'm going to use our Artisan clear glaze, and it just is the glaze that you can mix with any other water-based product, really. So you can use it with their chalk paints, their chalk finishes, you can use it with their metallics, you can use it with anything that's really even different paint products other than Artisan, you can use it with that as well. So Artisan Glaze. And what I'll be doing is I'll be showing a sneak peek of one of their new and upcoming colours that's this gorgeous dark charcoaly grey. So little sneak peek of that as we are doing this live. So all we need, I'll drop you down here in a minute, I've just got a little dish to mix it in. So let me pop the camera view down so you can see that. All we've got is a cloth. Now this one's dry, but I think I'm going to dampen that a little bit, because when you dampen the cloth you can move the glaze around a little bit as you're working with it. So I'm going to get that ready right here. To mix up my glaze, all I usually go with a ratio of around about, now you can see I don't have any measuring tools here right now. Because I'm only doing a tiny little box, you really don't need a lot. I usually go with a ratio of about 1 teaspoon of colour to 1 tablespoon of glaze. So literally I really don't need even that much for this whole box, but for the sake of trying to get a little bit more of an idea, I'd say that's not even a tablespoon, that's probably a teaspoon. So I've got to go with sort of 1 part to 4 parts is what I would do. So that's all I've got right there. It's around about a teaspoon. I'm trying to hold that up to my phone camera so you can see it a little clearer. And literally going to use the Artisan Chalk Finish. It's a natural chalk finish. And I'm actually just going to dip my Klingon brush. I'm using an S30 brush. These are really awesome short-handled brushes, because if you're doing shelves, and you know sometimes that shelf, the larger long-handled brushes, they kind of knock the shelf as you're painting it. So these are just really handy. They've got a gorgeous, almost in between a flat and an oval shape, but it's quite nice for doing small pieces, small bits of furniture, chairs, stools. You can even get in between the spindles on chairs and things like that. So because I've got such a tiny bit on here, I'm literally just going to dip the brush in, and see I've just got a bit of paint on the end of the brush here, oops, to colour it. Then I'm mixing it with the glaze, so it creates a dark grey glaze. To mix it, I'm going to wipe off the brush on the end and then wipe it in the glaze again. So glaze kind of gives you a little bit more playing time with the paint and the colour in order to get it in. So the reason I'm doing it on this box is because we've got this gorgeous detail here. So when you get glaze and you put it in over the top of detail, it sits in the grooves. It kind of looks pretty scary going on at first, so, but bear with me. So here we go. It's going to look a little ugly at first. We're pushing the glaze into all the crevices because that's the bit that's going to be left behind once we wipe away the excess. So I like to use the glaze working in sections, and literally I've only just, I've got a small bit on the brush. Now if you remember when I actually painted this, I was kind of painting it white in all these different directions, and that's so that we can let those brush strokes get into it. I'm going to move it away from back here and you'll be able to see those brush strokes. Let me just move it up a little bit closer to the camera. So as we move the paint away, you begin to see those little brush strokes in there and the paint sits all in the grooves. So I'll just go ahead and wipe the top of this bow. You can try and get it in there a little bit more. You could even use all that glaze that you've got on the side there. You could use it on the sides of the box also. So don't be too concerned because you're seeing all my glazing marks. We will do a nice even stroke at the end, just to make it all even out. So we don't want to wipe it all off. It's starting to look a little patchy there, but we just want to get a nice even stroke going across there to make it look like a glaze. You can find a clean bit of cloth if you want to. You can move off as much or as little as you want, but you want some of that glaze to be sitting there in the detail of your furniture piece. Don't forget to get your edges. So let me hold that up a little bit closer so you can kind of see that detail there. Sorry guys, there you go. A little bit more in focus. Oh, I also wanted to tell you about our Cyber Monday sale. If you're not watching this after Monday, of course. And if you want early access to that, I've got a link in the description of the comments. So go and sign up to my newsletter and I can get you early access so you can get 15% off store-wide. That's online only. Cyber Monday sale, so you'll be able to do that. All right, so now that I've got that part sort of ready, I'll go over here on the back where the hinges are. You can see that I've got a little bit left over from when it kind of came over and I brushed over the top there. Now this will sort of show up in those little bits and grooves around the hinges as well, so it'll sit in those bits. We're creating an aged look with the glaze. So you just rub it, wiping it on, then literally wiping it off. You could use a dry cloth if you wanted to, but I'll just gently drag it across. And you don't have to take it all off. You could just leave a lot on there. So look at that. Look how amazing that looks. Instead of wiping all of that off, leaving a bunch more on actually gives a lovely effect. So I might continue that look and leave a little bit more on. You can sort of wipe it off where those hinges are. Then we go on to the next side. You can see my fingerprints here. Not worrying too much about that. You can always add a little bit more glaze if you think that it's too dark. If you have any questions, please just pop them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer any questions. But you can kind of see how chalk paint is lovely for creating those little brush strokes that we can let the glaze sit into for a nice aged effect. That's how we get an aged effect. So just lifting that up again for you now, so you can kind of see how it's getting into the grooves and into the brush strokes. That's my zoom, my zoom effect. Now I can just see that I've got a lot left on there. I'm going to see what happens if I just rub it onto here. It does still create a bit, but the brush actually gets into the grooves, and I'm not going to worry too much that I've got that on the latch, because it will just wipe off when we wipe across it. There we go again. Nice glazing effect. Now that will dry, but what we want to do is seal it then with a flat matte sealer. Artisan has a flat matte sealer. Now all of these things, guys, 30% off, 30%, 15% off on our Cyber Monday sale. So if you want early access to that, otherwise I will be giving you the code on Monday. But you can get early access to that code and shop now if you wanted to by going to the link right here in the description of the live and signing up to my newsletter there, and then I will send you a coupon code for early access to our Cyber Monday sale. There we go. So there's that, and I'll finish off the bottom later. I feel like I want to give that same effect that I did on the bottom up here onto the top. I've done the bow and I'm happy with that, but I want to add some more of that glaze to make it really stand out in those crevices and the grooves. This, again, if you've just joined me, this is Artisan's clear glaze mixed with a dark grey charcoal colour that's going to be released, I think, December. Brand new colour from Artisan coming soon. Okay. So see how you can kind of just be artistic with it. Lovely glazed look. So how's that? See? I'm liking that back part really with the hinge. Liking the look of that. That's the glaze. Now you can use that glaze, as I said before, with any colours. You can use it with metallics and create a really lovely metallic finish on that. So I could get some silver now and actually create another whole effect with the silver. So here's the box, and this was honestly just an ordinary, plain, what do you call it? Index card box. And I've added a little hinge on the front. I'll take some really nice pictures of this in a minute. I've used an Efex applique on the top, and we've glazed all around. So there you go. I hope that you will take advantage of our Cyber Monday sale on Monday. But if you want early access to that, don't forget the link is right there in the description of the live up the top there. And I'll even pop it in the comments right here now so that you can go on there, sign up to my newsletter right here at this link, and I will send you the early access code for our Cyber Monday sale. There you go. That's what we've made today by mixing some charcoal colour with Artisan's clear glaze. All available on my website right here in Australia. Australia-wide shipping, and if you order anything over $150 worth of product, it's free shipping always. So there's that. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching today. I will catch you next time. Bye.